Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest, Sam Beman. So, Sam, looking kind of comfortable there.
Hey, I'm feeling kind of comfortable. I mean, this is nice. I like this. It's a nice little armrest here, something for your feet.
Leather jacket, sunglasses. This wouldn't have anything to do with Minstrels on the Block with Sam Beman, would it? I know you impersonate a lot of people. Hey, you don't impersonate me, do you?
No. Man, I'm just messing around. No, this is your. I'm sorry, it's your show. Goodness.
Rock.
Yes. I just thought, it's a rocking show.
It is a rocking show.
I should have wore this jacket when I was singing.
You totally should have.
Yes.
Well, now, instead of rearranging my show,
Yeah.
let's talk about your show.
Okay.
Okay, so you went steady for 6 months at the...
Oh, you mean the show?
Yeah, the show.
Like, wow, you're starting to get in my personal life. Yes.
Tabloids. So tell me, why did it end?
Well, it was time for a break, that just to kind of, because we had been going strong 6 months. I mean, I was writing sketches and, putting all the guests on and directing the actors week after week after week, which is so much fun. I mean, I absolutely loved it. But it was coming up on the summer, and so, to kind of give everybody a bake. No, I don't think so. Bake, Phil? Nope. But give everybody a break. And there's that, they could have the summer off, run reruns, and pick up in the fall. But then in the fall, there were some differences, that where the same person that I was working with at the time was not there, and so I said, okay, this is a great time for me to be able to work on some other exercises, and I went up to Atlanta to go train and took improv classes for about a year.
Where'd you take those at?
Whole World Improv Theater. Chip Powell, that was for you.
Nice. I love shameless self-promotion, or shameless promotion in general.
Yes.
So now, tell me something about improv classes.
Oh man, it's so much fun. I tell you, it can be very intimidating and very scary going in, because for several years I'd always wanted to learn how to do improv. I mean, I'll never forget the first time I had an actor come up to me and say, I'm taking some improv. Let's do a little game. I'm like, okay, what's the game? And it was whatever the first thing that you think of in your head, you would say. So, like, I would say lawnmower, and then you would respond with some other word.
Weed eater.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we would just go back and forth. You'd say the first thing that comes to your mind. And I was stumped. I'm like, oh, he goes, see, it's like that. I'm going, I could never do improv. So I thought, I wanted to go up there and go and try it. I actually wanted to go to Second City, but a buddy of mine who's a comic up there in Atlanta said, man, just go to Whole World. It's like the best improv theater in Atlanta. I mean, try it out. So I went to go sign up, for a course, and you have to be accepted into it. I got accepted.
Wow.
And again, it was intimidating going in, but you have to. One of the things that my teacher would always say, and it's actually in my advanced games, he would say, "Forget the fear." And that's what you have to do. You have to really let your mind go and just empty it. It's like in Ghostbusters when they say, okay, everybody clear their heads, don't think of anything. And then the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man pops in. Yeah. So you really have to clear your head when you're in a scene with your other actors.
Right. So now, your show continues on now. You came back from Atlanta from your improv classes, and tell me about how you incorporated some of that into what you do now as opposed to your show before.
Well, before, I used to have questions laid out for all of my guests. The secret is revealed. But before I would get with my guests beforehand. I would ask them questions, get to know who they were and everything about them. And then I would structure all of my questions. I would have them on my desk. So when we were doing an interview, I would go, all right, so tell me about your book, and that's how I knew to, keep things moving along. Well, after the improv classes, we actually did a game called Interview. It was like an emo interview, which is so much fun. And I want to do this on my show too, to one of my guests. Because what you do is you conduct an interview. You have someone who's the interviewer, you have the interviewee, and then the moderator will call out an emotion at any point in the interview. So the scene is set up. This is what you're doing. This is who you are. This is where you're at. And then the guy who would be interviewed say they would say angry, and so he would become angry, and then they'd say, okay, now you're sad, and it would be sad, so it would change the emotions. Anyways, when I got through with that, I thought, you know what, I want to incorporate this into the show, so that's what I do. I more or less improvise the interview. I find out what an artist wants to promote, and if there's anything in particular that they want to say, and then we just have fun.
Very cool.
So I haven't thrown any emotions at them just yet.
Right.
Yet. All right, where's our floor director? Maybe he could call out an emotion on me.
Fear.
Fear. Okay. Go ahead.
Now, tell me about your current show, some of the people you've worked with, some of the people you've had on the show. Because I understand you've had some interesting people on your show.
Don't sit so close to me. Yeah, I've had some... Sorry. I'm just going to hold with the floor director's emotion. Yeah, I've had some interesting people on the show. It's, God's just really blessed in an amazing way. I'm very humbled by some of the people that He's allowed me to connect with, like Kirk Cameron, really wonderful guy, just loves the Lord, and just a great family man too. I mean, it's been a joy to be able to get to know people like that like I've seen growing up on Growing Pains. And like even years ago, I'll never forget, I met Alan Thicke from Growing Pains. He was here in town in the Columbus area doing a celebrity Pictionary, and I didn't interview him, but that was one of those things where I felt like, hey, here's something I could possibly do, because I found out he was in town, and I ended up greeting him at the mall to come in and for the dressing room and all that, because I had a friend of mine in the media. It was like, hey, Alan Thicke's here. So I went down there. I knew more about him than one of the reporters that was asking him questions for a newspaper.
Wow.
And I was like, so on episode blah, 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 and I saw you in a movie the other day that you had a really thick beard and you were a bad guy. He's like, yes, I play bad guys in my off season.
Awesome.
And I've had other guys like the Kendrick brothers that have produced movies like Facing the Giants, Fireproof, Courageous, which I'm always honored and humbled when those guys give me a call and say, hey, we're going to be in town, we've got a new movie coming out, we'd love to be able to meet with you, to give you an opportunity to set up an interview. So, it's things like that make me very gracious for what I do, part-time.
Now, here's something I'm sure I've been dying to ask, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are. How do you line these people up? People that are...
I say, okay, I want you to stand here and everybody across the wall.
And they are lined up?
Yeah, they're
How do you recruit these people to be on your show? Kirk Cameron, yes. Left Behind series, he's been on a lot of different things. The Fireproof people, how do you get in touch with them? How do you get them on your show?
A lot of times I harass them. Normally what I would do is, if there's a particular guest that I would like to have on the show, I will look up their website, management, and try and contact them, that way. And sometimes it's not easy. I'm not saying that so that people out there are going, so that's how I do it? No, that's not how you do it.
That's not.
Because a lot of times it is really, who you may know as well. Yeah. If I contact someone at, let's say, Kirk Cameron's management, and I say, hey, I'd like to set up an interview, they're like, who are you again? What are you with? There are going to be some questions, so be prepared for that. But I am very persistent with, I have a show. It's not anything bogus. It's not like I'm trying to hoodwink artists out there. And I have examples of my work online. Here is something that you can visibly see. I'll be glad to send you something in the mail if you need it. Whatever. But typically, like if for the guys at Sherwood Baptist, I would say I'm really good friends with them. Love to be able to meet up with Kirk if possible. Well, you have to go through this person to this person. So it can literally be you're chasing a lot of different trails.
Wow.
So you can't give up.
Yeah. Because if you give up, it's like stopping halfway to, I mean, because you're actually taking, it's actually a bunch of directions you have to follow, and you have to follow it to the end.
Yeah, this is not really the line of work that most people are cut out for.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, even comedians, I'm a stand-up comedian as well, and I had a friend of mine who's a comic. He said, most people can't do what you do, especially, I mean, like for a comedian, or any type of artist, you want more of the focus to be about what you've got. Here's what I have. This is my comedy. This is my music. This is what I can do. And when you're in a spotlight like this, it's look at the other person.
Yeah.
You showcase what you have, but you also are more interested in the guest than you are yourself. So it's a very selfless job. Mm-hmm.
Well, you've obviously had a lot of success with your show, going from the initial setup in the studio to producing it yourself and having well-known people on your show. Where would you like to see your show go? How do you envision the future of your show?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. For anyone watching in the California area or New York or Nashville or Texas or even Atlanta, I would like to see this show go national. I really do. I feel like that God has called me definitely to entertainment. Christian entertainment I love because it gives me the opportunity to be able to showcase various Christian performers from around the country, who are making a difference with what they're doing. Whether they're juggling or they're doing some sort of magic act, singing a song, they're a poet, they're an author, whatever. And I really feel like that God has called me to do something on a broader scale. That a lot of what I do now is more, just until he moves me up to the next level, I'm content with being where I'm at.
I'll tell you what, let's check this out, and we'll be right back after this.
Howdy, I'm with the Big Dish Company. Have I got a deal for you? 50,000 channels.
Joe, could you hand me the pliers?
Pliers? What are you going to do with the pliers?
I'm just going to twist that little booger out of there.
Twist. Yeah, twist. Okay, so you've got milk. But here's the link. We found this hair sample that matches the DNA of the subject. Did you get your tickets?
To what?
For the gun show.
Isn't that special? What exactly could have possessed you to say such a thing? Could it have been Satan?
12 drummers drumming. Yeah, that would probably be annoying. How about 9 ladies dancing? Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know too many women that would want 1 woman for Christmas, let alone 9. Please welcome Stephen and Alex Kendrick.
Thanks. Thank you. Good to be here.
And look, I got to say, congratulations on all the success on Facing the Giants. Here we are with lead singer of Big Daddy Weave. How do you feel?
Man, I'm feeling pretty great. I brought my towel just in case I was going to accidentally sweat on you.
Vision 2010, and it's just the anointing being kissed right now. Woo! You certainly have a lot of patience and courage. My sins is that when Sky rolled us, I wished I would win the $1,000 instead of having to come here. Now that I'm here, I still win it. You look terrified. Did you see it? Of course I didn't see it. I was too busy eating my fruit roll-up. You won't hold me. Do I smell? Do I stink? I just think you don't like me.
Couple of people who seem to have some suggestions of what they don't know what they're doing.
Just like your sister.
Reverse.
Just like your sister.
And local personality, Sam Beman.
What do you guys think about our Miss Georgia and Miss Georgia outstanding teen contestants? Aren't they adorable? No, they're beautiful.